So welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, Esham Pickering. How you doing, Esham?
How you doing? Nice to meet you. How you keeping, Joel?
Yeah, really good, thank you. And before we start, happy birthday to your little boy.
Yeah, he's 5 today, little Isaac. I've just put it on Facebook and he got plenty of appreciation, plenty of attention, plenty of likes and plenty of comments. So we're really proud of him.
Oh, bless him. Well, wish him happy birthday from me, won't I?
I will, my friend.
But no, but as much as we'd love to talk about your son and all the kids, let's have a chat about you, mate. It's all about you today. Yeah, where did it all start for you, Esham? What was the you were saying, you were brought up by your mum. Where did it go from there in regards to boxing?
Yeah, I was brought up by my mum in a small town called Newark in Nottinghamshire, and I was a little fragile kid really at 15, younger than what my age was. I was a bit of a wimp really, and bullied, and I was bullied as a young kid. I was a minority in a white area. There wasn't many kids with ethnic origin around where I live, so I was bullied a little bit, quite a lot really. And I got into boxing. The gym was quite near me. I was really badly into football, but one of my friends was boxing, a guy called Rennie Briggs Price, and he says, just come down. Now, the gym wasn't even far from me, probably 5 minutes walk. So I went in at 15, and that was it. That's where it started. I never set a foot out of the gym from there, really. I stayed in the gym from 15. My first fight within 3 months of starting boxing. It would have been 2 months, but the fight got pulled off. So I actually lost my first 2 fights to the same lad. The lad had 10 fights, and I never had a fight. I lost my first 2, and then I won the next 10 on the trot. I never looked back from there. I won a national title at 17, boxed for England at 18, and then went to Sheffield at 19, spoke to Brendan Ingle and turned pro at 20. And I never looked back from that day, really.
Yeah. What was it like to work with the famous Brendan Ingle?
Yeah, it was a learning curve, mate. I learned so much off Brendan. Rest his soul. 2 years ago, 3 years ago in May, he died. How time flies. But I probably had Brendan at his best, really. Nazim Mammed was world champion at the time, so I got there in May of '96. Nazim Mammed had just knocked out Said Lawal for his first defence of the world title, and the gym was on fire more than ever, with Nazim Mammed, Ryan Rose, Johnny Nelson. Graham had actually left at that time, but the talent in that gym at that time was unbelievable. It was a great time to be in the gym.
Yeah, just to name those, Johnny Nelson, a character now in his own right, and he is a pundit. And Naz, what was Naz like?
Well, unbelievable, a total one-off. I've been all over the world in my experiences. I've been everywhere. I've been in with all kinds of sparring and seen all kinds of good fighters, fighting and training. This guy was a total one-off and should have been a pound for pound great, but obviously he never reaped and never put in the time in. From what I'm seeing, he should have been an all-time great, but he still went down as probably the hardest punching featherweight of all time, and a tremendous fighter and great character, but he never reached his potential. 1,000,000%. Should have been had potential to be the best fighter to ever live, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, he was certainly one of a kind. Definitely a performer, wasn't he? He's, the leopard print shorts, he seemed to have it all, the charisma, didn't he?
He had the whole package, he had the punch, the speed, the skill, the speed. He was phenomenal. You couldn't hit him and he'd hit you. But then again, a success story was Johnny Nelson. He started boxing at 14. He was in his 30s when I got there. But Oh, what a success story. You know, he lost his first 3 professional fights, and then went on to win British, Commonwealth, European, and had 10 defences and retired unbeaten as a world champion on 10 defences, and actually retired through injury. A great success, and probably the head of near enough the head of Sky Sports at this time. I've got nothing but respect for Johnny, and I've learned a lot off him, and he helped me out on the way as well. So I've got nothing but respect for Johnny.
Yeah, I can't think really of any other fighter that's lost their first 3 to then go on and do what he did.
Unbelievable. I think there was a guy called Henry Armstrong who did that. I think he lost his first few. I think it was Henry Armstrong. But a phenomenal feat. I remember saying in one of his title fights that he was just a product of the gym. And he just believed in his trainer just like I did, you know. He believed in his trainer and what he was doing. And I think that's a big thing for me. If you believe in your team and who you're working with, and if you start with somebody, I think it's so important to stay with them and stay loyal. And I think success will come your way that way.
Yes, I think it's a difficult one these days, isn't it? Because the trainers get blamed so quickly, don't they? If there's a downfall of a fighter or a loss, or you know, even a performance that's below par, the trainer seems to get hammered for it. And you know, like when Joshua lost, didn't he? They were straight into the trainer to say, "Get rid, we need another one." You know, and he proved them wrong, didn't he? You know, he stuck by.
Kraken did an amazing job with Joshua, and he's still doing a great.
Yeah, it's a strange one, really is. But you know, going back to you, 45 fights, 34 wins, 14 knockouts. What career?
Yeah, obviously I'm bitter a little bit. You know, I don't think I reached my potential. I had a few problems, and I never really recovered myself from 2005. I had a few personal problems. Don't need to go into that, and there's no excuses. But that's what set me back, because at the stage where I won my Commonwealth, then my British, then my European. At that time, when I won the European in January 16, 2004, I had a defence. I was joint top of the bill with David A in May of 2004. From there, I was 1 year inactive as a champion, because there was not much happening in the boxing world at that time. If you look back in the day, between 2004 and 5, boxing was a little bit sporadic. There weren't many boxing shows. Sky was a bit downhill. Frank Warren had parted company with Sky Sports, and boxing was a bit miss at that time. So I become champion at a bad time, really. And obviously I kept in the gym, but I just wasn't active as a European champion, you know. And as from in that bit of a delay, I fell into a few problems, and I never really recovered from it, you know. I did win a British title in 2007, but I never could recapture from where I won my title. I struggled a little bit, but as I said, there's no excuses, and it was a great experience. But I've got goals and aspirations now as a trainer, and hopefully I can give it a good shot. If I don't get there or get a world champion, I'm here and I'm going to give it a good try. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy to be involved in the game at this time. It's looking fantastic at the minute, isn't it, the game? Great in Britain, and I'd love to be involved somewhere.
Well, I personally, as a boxing fan, I can only speak as a boxing fan, but when I look at your record, you know, you still were British, Commonwealth and European champion. There's people that go through their career and they don't even get a sniff at that sort of thing. So, you know, from my point of view, for you to say, well, you know, I kind of underachieved. I felt, you know, I didn't reach my potential. From a fan looking in, you think, what a career. You know, you should be
I I really appreciate you noticing that and coming for an interview, because the guys that are fighting now, a lot of them don't reach that feat. So I'm really privileged to win them 3 titles, and I feel very fortunate, you know what I mean, to win them titles. I went for adversity to get to them as well. I don't know if you look through my career, but I was 11 unbeaten, and I boxed John Joe Irwin, only 16 months as a pro, who was a former British and Commonwealth champion who'd had more title fights than I had fights, and that was up at featherweight, and I lost on points to John Joe Irwin. And then I went another 5 or 6 unbeaten, and then they put me in for the world title 2 weights below, at bantamweight, which I didn't.
Year 2000, wasn't it? Year 2000.
That's right. On a freak show called the Full Monty, where everybody got knocked out. I'd never been knocked down in 10 years. On that day, I got knocked out, and the experience again, you know, you couldn't pay for. I was boxing at a weight and 2 weights below featherweight, which was my British title shot, and I just struggled too much to make the weight at that time, and it wasn't really me in the ring. But like I said, it was a great experience to go another 2 years boxing. Nobody's really. I then went to Gran Canaria in 2002. Or was it 2001? 2002 or 2. I went to Gran Canaria, boxed this guy up at lightweight, which is another 9 pound above featherweight, so bantamweight, and then a year and a half later up at lightweight, which is 4 weights above bantamweight, which is the way I got knocked out at. I boxed a guy in Gran Canaria in his hometown. That fight was on a channel called Eurosport. You remember that one? It's still running now, I think, Eurosport.
Yeah.
I boxed a guy called, what was his name? I forgot his name now. I'll have to look at my record. Martin, so I think it was something Martinez. I'm sure it was another Martinez. Might have been. Anyway, I won every round. At 12. Absolutely played with him. I didn't beat him up, but he didn't hit me and I hit him. And you could not give it him, and they give it him on a split decision. It's the worst decision you'll ever see. I won every round. So 98 got beat on points, 2000 got knocked out, 2002, or it might have been 2001, got really badly robbed. And then in 2003, got my Commonwealth title shot on the Hordley Harrisonville in Brentwood in February 2003. And then I got a good success of knockouts and titles. So that's when it all started for me.
Well, if anything, you've had an exciting career, Esham, haven't you? You know. Well,
I've got experience. I'd like to pass that on to my club, and my boxers in my gym. I've got about 18 amateurs, and I've hopefully get a few turning over pro soon. So hopefully I can pass my knowledge, a bit of wisdom, and try and create a champion one day. But like I said, I might not. But if not, I tried. You know what I mean? It's a tough sport.
Like you were saying, you know, at least you're going into it and you want to give something back to the sport that gave you, you know, what it gave you, you know. And like you say, you give all that to your mum, the way she brought you up and the way she, you know, got behind you. She might not have necessarily supported you at the start, but she never stopped you, like you said earlier. And that's, you know,
she's made a great job bringing me up, mate, 100%, you know, on her own. I know how hard it is. I've got 3 kids of my own, one that lives with me, and it's tough, you know what I mean? So any mothers out there, especially single mothers, I take my hat off to them, you know, it's tough. I've had my own amateur club now for 8 years, and I've been, like you say, I'm giving back, and hopefully, you know, I can get something out of it one day. But if not, I'm trying. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm also a support worker, which is a very challenging job, and I'm enjoying it. So that's the main thing, you know what I mean? I'm doing what I want to do. I've got no boss, really, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's always good to have no boss, mate. But no, it's yeah, as I say, it's an absolute privilege to have you on, and you know, it sounds like you're giving back in so many ways. Being a social worker, having your own gym, sharing your experiences with the lads down there. You know, Esham, I think you're a top bloke.
I appreciate your time, mate, and that, and thanks for coming on to me for an interview. I appreciate.
No problem at all. And as I say, is there anyone in particular that you see in the sport now that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. Is there anyone? That's all right, mate. Is there anyone in the sport now that you think that you really like?
Oh, I mean, I love boxing. I love the sport. I'm not a follower of it like I used to be, because obviously I was more involved. But I think the talent and the job Eddie Hearney's doing and Frank Warren are doing, you know, his boxing's at an all-time high in Britain. I love a lot of fighters in Britain. You know, I can only commend them and take my hat off to them. You know, I love the fights coming up, Joshua and Fiore. You know, I love that fight. I think there's so much talent in Britain at the moment, and the boxing's looking really good. So I'm a big fan of all the boxing.
No, well said, mate. Because I think, you know, the UK, I think, is the top dog at the moment in the boxing world, and it's the place to be, and it's the place to come for it. So, like I said,
definitely. I think I've got to take my hat for that at the moment. Eddie Hearn's doing a great job.
Yeah, especially during this, you know, during this time of lockdown as well. I think with what he was doing in the, you know, the Matchroom Garden, and the, you know, out in Gibraltar last weekend, you know, just brilliant. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, I think you're one that will go down in British history. There's no doubt about it. So people are going to look to you, and as I say, your experience and your records are out there now. So it's down to the youngsters to chase them down.
Exactly. I mean, I've got goals and aspirations to take. I mean, I'm the only British Commonwealth and European champion from Newark, in my small town in Newark. So I've got a goal to take somebody one step further if I can. I'll give it my best shot. Somebody from Newark to become world champion. I might not get one, but I'm going to give it a good shot, you know?
Well, and with that attitude, that's the only way you're going to do it, isn't it?
That's it, my friend. Appreciate it.
Well, honestly, Esham, thank you for your time. And I hope Isaac has a great birthday. And yeah, we'll have to keep in touch, and we'll have a chat soon.
Definitely. Thanks for that. I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, mate. You take care.
And you, pal. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks, mate. Esham Pickering doesn't give himself any credit at all. What a record. 45 fights, 34 wins, 14 knockouts. British, Commonwealth and European champion at super bantamweight, and went for the world title in 2000. Came up short in it. But what a career, you know. Give yourself some credit, mate. I, you know, really appreciate your time coming on, and there's going to be a lot of youngsters looking to emulate what you've done. So yeah, really chuffed to have him on. Social worker as well, and now a trainer, top bloke. So yeah, if you like what you've seen today, hit the subscribe button and check out the rest of the content. But you've been watching JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Are you ready?